Welcome back. Oh, my shin. Oh.
You know, she's the first person to hit the step with the shin.
This is a workplace hazard. Ow! Ow!
We're gonna take a quick breather. We're going to Oshkosh. We had largely written off Oshkosh as not going to happen. Just trying to stay relatively affordable with doing the trip. It can get very expensive going to Oshkosh. The way that we were going to do it to stay affordable was to do the dorms with the University of Wisconsin at Oshkosh. So when the original sign up, join the wait list, whatever was released, I was on it that morning, put in for an air-conditioned room right away within the first, 5 minutes. Like I had an alarm scheduled, I was up, ready to go. Anyways, we ended up, I guess 100 and something on the wait list. So a couple months ago I checked in with them and they said, no, you're still whatever such and such on the wait list. We recommend seeking other accommodations. So we largely wrote it off at that point until yesterday. I received an email from them saying... Literally until yesterday. Like before yesterday, we had all our summer travel plans set in stone. We're like, this is what our summer looks like. Oshkosh isn't happening, maybe next year. And that was that. And then out of nowhere, we're at Wyatt's first dentist appointment. And bada bing, Austin says, oh my gosh. We're going to Oshkosh. So...
Yes.
We're excited. So yes, we were able to get a dorm room, which is much more affordable than, say, trying to stay in an Airbnb nearby. I know everyone recommends camping. This is going to be our first trip there. I really want to be able to focus on Oshkosh and not have other variables. I'd love to camp there in the future. I'd also love to potentially fly there in the future. But the first year, I think, I just hit my shin on it for my first time.
See? It's so painful. It's because we're hanging out near it.
I know.
Anyways.
So the first year, I think it'll be the least stressful way to do it. I think we can really have all of our mental energy going into being in Oshkosh and
it'll be
taking it in.
Just me and Austin. Wyatt will not be joining this year. He will join in future years for sure, but right now he's one and on the move and walking, running toddler style very fast. So we'll be leaving him here, but he will be here. We'll be going in the future.
Yes. So yeah, we're excited. We'll be flying there Sunday. I think we land at 2. Still haven't figured out the rental car situation, but flying in Sunday at 2, and I think our flight out of there is also at 2 on Thursday. So we're going to be there. We also, I think, scored some of the last RV-10 dinner tickets for Sunday night. So we got those purchased. We'll be there at the RV-10 dinner Sunday night. The banquets, we don't have tickets for.
Sold out.
When I was watching it too, I saw it on Slack, saw it on Van's Air Force, on Facebook. Everyone talking about banquet tickets. I, again, largely wrote off Oshkosh. We just weren't going to go. So we're not going to be at the banquet, unfortunately. Unless anyone out there, if anyone is bailing on the trip or has extras, please let me know. I'd love to go to the banquet and see everyone there. But if not, well, at least be at the RV-10 dinner. I'd love to meet every one of you out there, put faces to YouTube handles, to Instagram handles.
And if anyone has recommendations, I feel like a lot of people have gone before. If you're like, this is something you have to go to, let us know because you've been there before, so you'll know better than we do. And we were looking at all the events last night. There's so many events. This is quite the, I knew it was a really well put on event, but I didn't realize how many different sessions they were and just different opportunities for us. So I feel like there's a lot to choose from. Austin will do basically
yoga.
Yeah, he's gonna do yoga. He's signing
7
up.
7 a.m.
No, not really.
That's too early.
He's gonna do a lot of the events. I'll be working a little bit as well, so I'm gonna be in and out, but trying to go largely to we have some ones that we're circling that we'll for sure be at that we're excited for.
Yeah, that's the other perk of the dorm is I knew that her job, my job, I'm not gonna be too busy. I'll have one deal, I think, under contract while we're there, but she's always busy. Big lot of problems. But the dorms have a nice desk, obviously set up for college. It'll be a throwback to undergrad days. So again, we're excited. We will see you all there, and please comment down below if you have any advice, helpful hints, first timers at Oshkosh, please let me know. And yeah, we'll see you there. Enjoy the video. Today's video, we're jumping way ahead, up to section 42. I'm kind of in holding on a couple of the sections where I need fuel lines, brake lines, random parts. So anywho, I figured I'd jump ahead, section 42, seat backs. That'll be a fun, looks like a fun, quick little project to do. So we're getting to it. I've already gone ahead and cut down 3 of the lengths of material. I need 4 total, but these here are the very first step, which is cutting down 26 3/8 inch long pieces of angle aluminum. So I have 3 here, about to knock out the 4th one. Then we'll go ahead and cut down the thinner material for like the side-to-side support. So we'll get to it, and yeah, it should be a fun project.
Alrighty, rear seats are complete. You'll notice I do have the seat floor, whatever these are called, seat floor pans, whatever these are, just rest in here temporarily to see what it'll look like. Those are not riveted in place. Also, the hinges are not riveted in place on the bottom. But anywho, I'm happy with how they turned out. They look really sweet. It's really cool to have seats in the back here.
Alrighty, so I've kind of on and off been working on different projects here. You'll notice off camera I went ahead and got my brake pedals for the Rudder brake system set up. Anyway, got them riveted together. I am going to be doing the upgraded rod through the back side. I'll share a link to the wiki page. That's where you can find a whole bunch of information on it. But
those of you who are curious, I will be using the stock setup, but just modifying it to make it just a little bit better. One of those things that I'm not sure if it'd be an issue now, if I'd be fall victim to the issue of dragging brakes or slowly returning brakes, but I figured it's easy enough to do it now. I am very nitpicky. Those who know me or ride mountain bikes with me, family at home, they probably know I'm very particular with how I like my equipment to operate. One of my biggest pet peeves is when I hop on someone's bike and the brakes are mushy or they're really slow to return back out of the way. I like things if I want the brakes on, I want them on now. When I let go of them, I want to let go of them and have no more brakes. I want everything to be crisp and dialed. So knowing that people have had issues in the past with the brakes dragging, having slow return, I'm going to do the upgrade. Again, it's so easy to do it. This one here, I'll show you real quick on camera. I'm not going to tell you the exact part numbers because they are a mouthful. I'll put it somewhere on the screen. But the whole idea here is these already have a spring return in them. They will return, but the spring aftermarket upgrade that people do with the McMaster car parts helps to reinforce that spring return. It really makes it, sounds like it makes it much more of a positive. Brakes are on, brakes are off, nothing in between, which I like the sounds of that. So it's super simple. Again, I'll put somewhere on the screen here the exact part numbers, but I just followed the wiki page and all the parts so far I've lined up. But taking a collar here, which accepts the spring, and it fits absolutely perfectly over there. And then once we have that in, spring fits absolutely perfectly. That little collar there is kind of protecting the shaft here from having the spring rubbing on it. So it nests perfectly like it was designed for it. And then another one of those collars on top. And again, that's kind of keeping the spring centered now. So it's not going to want to wiggle left or right and interfere with that shaft there. And then lastly, we have a, what is this? Set screw collar, and that set screw collar is going to hold that all down and away from your top mounting bolt. So this is literally it's just so simple. Set screw collar guy here. I'll back out. I have an Allen wrench somewhere, which I've lost. For now, temporarily, I'll kind of just put it somewhere around here because I know I'm going to have the hardware attaching up here where that hole is. So nice and out of the way. And I'll just lightly tighten it. I'll leave it there for now. I'll probably do final adjusting once I have all the hardware on, have it on its final assembly, making sure that it clears the mount or the little ear that it mounts to. And I'll probably also take that set screw out and put a little bit of Loctite in there. But that is literally the upgrade for at least just for the for these guys here. So now the spring return is going to be much more aggressive on the way back. Super simple addition. The other upgrade I'm going to be doing involves using this long steel rod here. So I'll cut this down. It's going to go with the pedals. I'm doing things so on and off here. I'm not going to be doing recording. I'm in and out of the house with the boy. So I'll probably show some quick clips somewhere in the future of this being assembled. But yeah, my whole plan is keep this relatively stock, but just kind of improve on the plan that Vans has for us. So we'll get back to it. And yeah. Alrighty, not sure if this is the proper orientation, but just play make-believe for a second here with me. With the stock orientation, you have this little ear, and those each get their own individual bolts on each side. So it's not a solid axle all the way through. So supposedly the theory is, with it like that, when you put pressure forward, those individual bolts are acting as their own little axles. They have a tendency to kind of want to angle in and take some of that pressure and bind. But if you had a solid axle all the way across, stay nice and true and not have that angular moment. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm a real estate agent. The solid axle, it keeps everything in line. You can put pressure on it. So there's two ways to do it. One of which I'm following, which is the wiki method. Not sure who did it originally. I'll throw a link somewhere on the screen here of how I'm doing it, but it's just using a solid piece of steel rod material from McMaster. The other method is using a really long AN bolt. I think BuildFlyGo documented on his where he used a long AN bolt all the way through with the nut on the end. But I'm using the method mentioned in the wiki page. But went ahead and upsized one of them so far. So upsize the holes on each side. So you'll see original size there, and you'll see the upgraded size or upsized amount there. And the idea here is now I have bushings, which I will JB weld in location
with the steel rod in place, that way it stays nice and true. Again, following the information on the wiki page for help there. But the whole idea here is I'll have these bushings in there, and I will have the ability to have this steel rod right here, which I will cut down, but this steel rod will go end to end. And with that steel rod going end to end, on the outside, I'm pretty sure I'll probably still need a washer on each side, but then I'll have a collar there, not sure what it's called. I'll have a way to capture the side there, tighten those down, and keep that rod in there. And you'll see now I have a solid axle and nice little bushings here for it to ride on. So that's the plan. I'm gonna go ahead and upsize all the rest of them, get these bushings ready. I'll get them JB welded in place, get this cut down eventually. Probably won't all happen tonight, but that's the plan.
Alright, quick check-in. I know the garage is a little bit of a mess right now, but want to go over these guys here. So I cut them down to the dimensions that the dimensions mentioned in the build log that's linked in that wiki thread. But also just erring on the side of caution in the very rare chance that the set collars at the end were to come loose. I did drill at the end. Did drill some holes which will accept cotter pins. So I got this one set up already over here. I do not have the master cylinder on yet, but you can kind of get an idea. There is an added washer, standard size washer right there, and then another standard size washer right there at the tip of my thumb. And then I have the set screw collar on the outsides there. So you can kind of see the holes that I drilled, which again, that will accept a cotter pin. I'm not going to put in any now because I'm not sure if this is going to get taken apart, if I'm going to paint this steel weldment or not. So I'll leave cotter pins out for now. But you can kind of get an idea of why I did that, just in case this set screw comes loose. Probably a super rare chance, but in the off chance that that set screw is to come loose, I wanted to have a cotter pin just to back up. So I'll get the brake pedals on that guy over there, and then I'll probably check back in as soon as I have the brake master cylinders in. Alrighty, quick check-in. I got the brake pedals set where they're going to hopefully live forever. I went ahead also and JB welded just around this little like locking collar here, of course leaving the Allen head available still, so I can still get in there and loosen it and slide this rod out, pull this all out and whatnot. But I threw JB weld, it's ugly as heck, but my idea here is just in case this rod ever wanted to have any kind of spin to it, it won't now that it has JB weld. So I did it on each side, again, staying clear of that Allen hole. But the idea here is as this is being pushed, it's in the improper orientation to show you, but imagine it's pushing this way. As this is pushing, I want all of that rotation to be happening with the bushing itself, because that's nice smooth surface in there. And again, I don't want it elongating this steel weldment over time, which probably would not happen. I overthink things, especially when I have time on my hands. So that's that as far as that check-in. Other than that, I've started running rudder cables. So I've already run the one back here. That was a pain, by the way. I think someone mentioned it either in the wiki page or on Vans Air Force not to put bushings in that tail cone while assembling the tail cone. This dummy right here put bushings in that tail cone section. So I had to line this with moving blankets, put a little stand over there just in case holding tips, and I had to crawl in there and pull the bushings out. After pulling the bushings out, then I had to feed them over the cable, which I'll show you here shortly, and then crawl back in there, then slide it back in with the cable inside the bushing. So that was a pain, but one thing I've learned with these bushings is they are hard to, the bushings are hard to get over the cable, because basically you run it through a hole, slide this bushing over it, slide the bushing back down, plug that hole, feed it to the next one, again, put another bushing on it, slide it, lock that into that next bushing hole, lace it again. So anywho, what I have found helps, because this bushing doesn't really want to go and slide over the front of this rudder cable mount very easily. So take a pair of pliers, and if you squeeze, honestly probably if you squeeze anywhere, but I've been squeezing them in that orientation there where your little locking collars aren't on each side. Thought process here is you have thinner material there and there. It's gonna be okay with bending a little bit more there probably. And also, if I am deforming this in any direction, I'd rather deform it where those teeth engage even more than ever before. So anywho, I'm shutting them down. So anywho, take this guy here, a little light pressure, just kind of ovalize the bushing just a little bit, and it slides right on over. It still looks like a perfect circle, but again, if I squeeze it in the wrong direction, if it's giving any kind of favor to any side, it's giving favor to those teeth, so the teeth are gonna grab more. So anyway, that's the plan right now, is I've been doing this and then feeding it through a hole, doing another one, feeding it through a hole, and by the end of this, I'll show you, we'll have all the rudder cables in place. Alrighty, still picking my way through random little projects. This little guy here is a nylon block, so it comes with 2 pieces that do not have holes drilled in them already, and it has a little slot in the middle, which this one I've already started to file down, but that slot is square. And with that square slot, what I found, and also it's noted in the RV-10 wiki page, but what I found was I did try to originally mount it, so mass drilled it, mounted it, tightened it down, and this rudder cable would not budge at all. So this one over here, I've already gone down, filed it down. You'll see I can push it through, pull it through. Has a little bit of resistance, but man, before it was not moving at all. But this will totally be fine, especially being overcome with foot pressure. The way I did that is instead of using a Dremel or anything like that, I've just gotten away with using these little files here. They are too big. They're bigger than the width of that rudder cable, but I'm kind of just using the forward portion and just knocking them down. So you'll see I've already gone at these a little bit here, and maybe you can see it, but kind of knocking the edges off on that square cut. And that's really all I did on the other one, and it worked really well. So I'm gonna finish doing that here. Next time I see you, they'll both be mounted, and we'll see where we go from there. So that was super satisfying. There's in the plans it mentions using a drill press. It specifically states use a drill press. A couple weeks ago, or probably a week and a half ago, I got to this stage. I didn't have a drill press at the time, and I thought, you know, I'm good with the drill. I can do it. And the answer was no, I could not do it. Came out the backside, walking at an angle. I tried fixing it by walking. It just did not work. I had to order another part. But that is so satisfying. I'm happy to now have a drill press. This one was on Amazon. It's pretty sweet. It has a readout of your exact RPM. It's real smooth. And the chuck is nice and straight. And you can tell how straight it is. You'll see here, I did kiss it with the head of the truck there. That's fine. I don't care. It's a little scuff mark, but there's my entry point there. On the back side, I drew where I was hoping the drill would land, and it landed there. So that was really satisfying. Nice and true, nice square part. I would not recommend trying to do this part by hand, or else you will waste $10, I think it was, for the part, and then also over a week to get it from Van. So anyways, happy with this. I'm gonna go ahead and drill the other side, and we'll keep moving forward. Entrance and exit, real satisfying. It's the little things that entertain me. Mass drilled that guy there. So I did both the aft and forward most positions. I'm not sure where we're gonna end up doing it. I wanted to make sure that we had both positions set. I am 6 feet tall, Amanda's 5'3". In a perfect world, I think I would have it all the way forward. But I love the idea of Amanda being able to fly this as well. So we'll see what I end up doing. I think I'll very likely install it in the aft location. And then worst case scenario, if it's too cramped down the line, I can always utilize those holes. It'd be a pain, but I can utilize those holes that I already drilled in there and move that to the forward location. Maybe make some kind of a block that I could put on. I've seen a couple of other builders make custom blocks they can put on the brake pedals, kind of brings it out, brings it closer to their passenger so they can reach, or if they're flying left seat. Anyways, removable pedals, blocks, whatever you want to call those. So I think we've officially reached the point in the build where I'm just picking through random things. It's no longer going to go in order of, say, 29, 30, 31, all the way through. Yes, I don't know what this video is even titled at this point. I don't think we're doing just a specific section. Not sure what all content I recorded. I'm really bouncing all over. You'll see the other thing I did do. Got these out of the way so they wouldn't grab me. But the other thing I did do is put together the elevator trim. So it's in there. I know I'm gonna have to take it off, but it's in there temporarily. That was another fun little project to do. So I'm gonna be bouncing all over, I think, until the end of the build. Just waiting on certain parts from certain vendors, figuring out wiring, avionics, figuring out all the things. We've officially reached that point where it's going to be a little choppy. So I'll try to keep doing these fun, helpful hints on certain sections, but we are probably done with seeing one chapter at a time, unless there's future chapters that I can do that with. Yeah, so I'm not sure again what all you saw in this video here, but happy with how things are turning out so far. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in that next video, whatever it is. Adios.